This is a bullet journal. I'm a big fan of bullet journaling, and you have probably heard of this or seen one and might be a little intimidated by how artsy and complicated and time-consuming it looks. I'm here to show you it can actually be really simple. I've set mine up so that it's quick, it is compact, and it's easy to review. Let's see the official techniques of bullet journaling and how I've adapted them to the goals I mentioned earlier. Here we go. These are all my supplies, JK. You really just need some sort of paper and a pen. I add on a scratch piece of paper and a paperclip, which is what I'll explain later, but you don't need that. The language of bullet journaling is rapid logging, which is how to employ these symbols into your piece of paper. They mean those things, and you can really get a lot out of it without spending a lot of time writing. For example, check out this person's overview. It says a lot about what happened, and this is what it would look like on some scratch paper using that symbology. This is me during the day thinking after coffee with Devin, like, ooh, that was really great. I'm going to remember that so it doesn't just like slip by and I never do that again. Later on, I'm adding tasks and crossing them off as they happen or starring them. This is a day in my real bullet journal, and towards the bottom I noted that I had coffee at 1 p.m. and then I later noted that I was jittery at 8:30 p.m. and I was starting to connect the dots about how maybe that's not such a good idea. And so you can see how capturing it like this helps you make sense of what's going on in the day without getting too attached to it. That is rapid logging. So having a way to capture the daily stuff that comes up in a new language is awesome, but I'll like to have a month and a week breakdown so that I can just make sense of what's going on each day. This is me setting up a calendar, which isn't meant to be like a real calendar that schedules my hours of the day, but rather an overview of what happened and what was important. Those stickers come with the official journal, and they're not necessary. When I don't have the official one, I'll just write them by hand, and that's fine too. This is part of an investment in making my review process really quick and easy. Setting this up now because I've looked at my real calendar and it can be messy. So this is the benefit of doing this. Right now I'm adding dividers for the weeks just so I visually can see where I'm at. And after that, I add the events that I know are going to be important. This is how I symbolize when I'm gone on a trip somewhere. I'm going to be in Wisconsin for 10 days, and just a simple way to do that. And then I write down the things that are happening and what days they're happening. And I can update this during the month as it goes on. And of course, it's not a calendar unless you call it calendar, so now it's official. Boom, that's the calendar. This is what it looked like in the past. You can see I cross out the days as they go by. Next to that, I have my intentions, which is another high-level reminder about this month and what I was focusing on, what I intended my mindset to be. And that's just nice to have it next to the calendar. And I leave a lot of space so that I can extend it as I want through the month. For example, in the previous month, I just filled it with doodles, and that was nice. Other months, I don't do anything with it. The point is, when I'm setting it up, I want it to be really quick and easy. Okay, we're getting to the fun stuff now, the tasks. Here we go. I'll divide my page in half just to have more space again, and I break it down into 4 columns based on the weeks. They're not necessarily 7 days, but just the important thing is it's 4 sections so I can plan accordingly. How do I decide what to put here? Glad you asked. I refer back to the 6-month overview, aka the future log, which is a space like this where I just throw down things as they come up during previous months, and when that month does come up, I'll flip back and refer to the things I said I wanted to do that month. So it's October. This is what I had down for October, and it's time to migrate and move things over. So I already added Larry's birthday, so I'm going to cross it off. Now I see I said I wanted to schedule an eye exam, and I'm thinking, do I want to do that? Yeah, I do. When should I do that? Well, I got the first week open, and might as well do it then. So I add it to the bottom because it's a shallow, low priority kind of task. It's not that important if it gets bumped back. So once I do that, I do the migrated or to the right symbol there just to signify that it's in a different spot now. And I'll do that for these other tasks too that I decide I do want to prioritize. Here, this one's time bound because I'm getting a present for Larry's birthday on the 11th, which means I have to do it during that first block, and I'm putting it at the top because it is important and there might be more involved. Now I'm considering a vacation with my family that I want to plan, but I'm realizing I don't have to do that in October. I can do that later because it's not that pressing, so I'm pushing it over to the December section of the future log, and I'll revisit it then. I already added that to the calendar. I want to get coffee with Ginny this month, but I haven't scheduled it yet. It's going to be in Wisconsin, so I need to do it sometime then, and so I'm going to add it to the first week there. Boom. I do that for the rest of the items, and now at this point, they are all here on the calendar or in my weekly task list like that. This is what it looked like in the past. You can see the bottom comes up more and it gets a little messier. You can also see I'm experimenting with an errands section where I block all those together, but the point is it gets a little messy and there's room for experimentation and it's really easy. This is where everything starts coming together, which is the day-to-day. What does this look like? So I'll flip to my next pages, divide it in two just to have more space, and this is where I put the things that are important that I'll want to remember in the future. But to filter out the noisy stuff while also allowing me to capture all the stuff that does come up, this is a method I've created where I'll flip a piece of paper into 4 sections, label them ahead of time, split them down the middle for more space again, and do a different layout just to help me better utilize that space. And at this point, I'll admit it is extra work and this is kind of tedious. I have to do it every 8 days. But the payoff is big, and you'll see later why I do this. I just rapid log using the same system as before, picking things up for my weekly log and deciding when I want to do that. The paperclip comes in by allowing me to anchor it to a certain spread or move it around. This reduces a lot of the flipping, and it helps me contextualize what I'm doing. So now I'm thinking about my intentions while I'm capturing stuff from the day. You can even do this in a previous bullet journal where you're looking back from years past while thinking about the today at the same time. Extra little benefit if you don't want to carry a ruler, now you have a ruler. I did that for a while too. More benefits of this method, you can open it up and see 2 days out of view. You can do it for 4 days, flip it over and see 8 days. If you don't have ribbons, this acts as like a nice bookmark. Open it up really quickly. So that's what it looks like. And if something is important, I know it's important, I will add it here and move it over to my permanent daily log or just add it directly there. This is how the payoff looks. So I have 18 days in 2 pages using that method because everything here is high fidelity and useful for me, while at the same time I was able to capture things in the scratch paper. So this makes the review process really easy. Speaking of, all this capturing and organizing is only useful if I know what to do with it. And at the end of every month, I'll look back at my calendar, my intentions, my daily log, and write some takeaways, do some changes if I want for next month. This is really important and actually really easy thanks to the work I put in up front. As this goes on, it can be hard to know where I'm going in my journal, which is where this table of contents comes in, or index. It's just as simple as writing down what and where it is. So it's easy to flip to when you need to. I just add one for the month. Keep it simple. Finally, the last thing I'll cover are topic pages or collections, which are self-contained notes that don't have to do with time or tasks or things. This is all the planning I have for my newsletter, just general ideas, and it's just here and I add it to the index, and that's another nice way to use the journal. All right, we got into the weeds for a bit, which is awesome, and now I'm coming back up and explaining why the bullet journal for me has been so impactful. To sum it up, it would be that the bullet journal is the third place for my mind. My computer is my workplace, and then when I'm away from the computer, that's my personal stuff. But the bullet journal and using it in this way helps me transition in and out of those spots and make connections that are otherwise just lost if I keep them in my head, or that I don't pay attention to if I put them in an app. So just having another place to be without it being scattered and without also it being too organized has had huge mental benefits. I think a reason a lot of people get tripped up and try bullet journaling and it just doesn't work for them is because they try to cram everything into the bullet journal. They try to make it a to-do list, it's a planner, it's a calendar, it's an actual journal, and then it's like too much and it's overwhelming, they fall out and then they go back the other way and it's all digital or it's just all in their heads. I've decided to leave calendaring out in the sense of like real daily calendaring, my agenda out. I leave out my permanent like notes that I want to reference or search in the future. All my work stuff is in Notion just so it's separate. And so the point I'm getting at is to think about what would work well in the digital versus the analog and to gradually, if you want, migrate things over into your analog as you're customizing it. You don't have to buy more supplies, you don't have to watch more videos. You can turn this off, get a piece of paper, grab an empty notebook, grab a pen and start rapid logging and just try it out. And after that you can add on some collections or do a weekly log and build it out from there, with each step of the way asking yourselves like, is this working for me? Is this what I want? Finally, I gotta plug my calendar. You know I gotta plug my calendar. I'm actually a developer and I'm making a calendar specifically for bullet journalists. It is currently a way you can track your priorities and tag priorities onto events. It's very minimal, of course. You can hide times so you don't get bogged down by all this noisy stuff. And I'm adding in the ability to view intentions and then also review your week later. These are designs of them, and if enough people like them, then they'll be built into the app shortly. So if you're a bullet journalist and you're sick of your boring Google Calendar and you want something tailored to you, I am currently rolling it out to people on a wait list, so you can add your email and get it shortly if you're watching this around October 2022. Otherwise, it might already be open to the public, so just click the link in the description and check it out. Thanks for watching this video and seeing how I bullet journal. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.